Why, hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Shobo. Today is Friday. It is Friday, February 24th, 2023. I have a kitty next to me meowing. We are going to be playing Kerbal Space Program 2 today. I am, at the moment, right now, apparently there's issues with my green screen. I am right now trying to limit the maximum frame rate of the game through my NVIDIA settings. That is what I'm doing right now, in the process of doing. So maximum frame rate on. I'm going to set it to 60. We are streaming at 30. Keep this in mind. Yeah, so, yeah, I need to set this because I loaded up the game. Game launched 9 a.m. today, an hour ago. I bought it. It took about 20 minutes to install and download all that good stuff. And, we're here now after having done a few brief tests. I have just finished updating my drivers, so that's something that I have now done. I have updated my drivers. I have a GTX 1080 Ti, one step above the absolute minimum recommendations. Dolly. Doll. What's up? What's up? What you up to? Huh? What you up to, baby? What's the matter? What's the matter with my baby? Hi. What you doing? You're like going crazy next to me. She's going nuts next to me. She gave me a scratch on my wrist. Yes, you gave me a scratch. I see it. It's like ever so slightly bleeding. It's red. Anyway, yeah, so I had enough time to load up the game, and that was about it. Looks like my own, like, webcam frame rate might be a little low-ish, but anyway, we're gonna load up this this scene here, and we're gonna load up the game. I have a few things to say. First impressions, as it were, about the game. Yeah, she really did get me. Hey, yo, Dolly, you're overly stimulated right now. Here, let me show you. There is Dolly. She is on the side of the desk, and she is hyper right now. So the game has a launcher. I will hit play, and it will load, and I will have to, like, scale that down, probably move it a bit. I have to figure out a spot for the cat to be, for cat cam, because this window covers a few things. KSP2, it's here. It's arrived. We are very happy. I'm sure that KSP2 is here, has launched, and is loud. Excuse me? I set these settings, and I closed the game normally. And it did not save my settings for audio. Oh boy, don't you love early access? Yeah, I want the tab away on. I want it to be in headphone listening mode, and I want to go to graphics. Why it's like selected both. So borderless window, just as FYIs, we're gonna go through this list of settings. Borderless windows is broken. It is not actually borderless. It is in fact just regular old full screen. It is not borderless. It constrains the mouse to the bounds of the window, which not a thing to do in borderless window. Just throwing that out there. That's not a thing that you should do if you have borderless window mode active, meaning you have to Alt-Tab out of the game, which minimizes the game. The whole point of borderless window is that it does not minimize the game or the program. We need to access another window. So that's a step one right there. That is a bug that I found incredibly annoying. And yes, the game is running at 1080p, even though the game is actually on a 1440p monitor. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is an image that has been stretched from 1080p to 1440p and then shrunk again to 1080p for my stream. Okay, so that's what you're seeing right now, is the image has been stretched and then shrunk again. And the frame rate of the stream is 30, even though the frame rate is 60 up on the top. I know it's difficult to read, but that's just Steam's overlay settings. My goodness, she really did get me. It will not show up. I cannot get a good angle on my wrist, but she did get me with a claw across my wrist. Okay, I have the game on the lowest settings. Yeah, on the lowest settings. It's off here because these don't matter when it's off. Yeah, there's some issues on like highlighting of the settings that you have set in this menu. Lowest, absolute lowest, and yeah, as I said, I have a 1080 Ti, and you know what? It is necessary. I actually would like for these settings to go lower, because there's a few things that are missing off of this list that have been pointed out to me as I alt-tab out, because I have another, like, notification. Who, like, added me again. Alright, yeah, so on the official KSP2 Discord, they have a suggestions section, and I'll go over what those suggestions are right now, that I said. So in this list for graphic settings, we do not have a way to turn off shadows, as someone's flailing back there. We don't have a way to turn off shadows. We also don't have a way to turn off clouds in the settings. And we don't have a way of turning off trees, which I would think that would be considered an environment prop. I would think, yeah, rocks and trees would be considered an environment prop, but it doesn't remove trees from the Kerbal Space Center from KSC. It doesn't actually remove the trees from KSC. This setting. It doesn't do anything to KSC. It removes the random tree scatter and rock scatter off of planetary bodies, including Kerbin, but it doesn't actually remove the static trees from the KSC, which, oh boy, we will see. I actually do want this off. I want it off, which is actually lower than the low settings for the graphics here, Joe. Yeah, this is the biggest thing. I wanted to talk about this at the very beginning, because this is the performance of KSP2 is the absolute biggest controversy of the game, bar none, and it's between that and the asking price for it. The price is what it is. I really don't care, frankly. If you cannot afford it, get money to afford it, frankly. Like, just, I'm done with any arguments about games being too expensive, that it's moot. No, games are not too expensive at most price points, especially games that are going to give you hundreds to thousands of hours of entertainment, of quality entertainment. Like, do not make this argument that the price is too high. I will literally ban anyone in my chat or in my comments who claims that the price is too high of this game, or of really any game that I play. because I am beyond done with any of that complete and utter BS. So, that being said, there are very valid complaints about performance, and there is an argument to be made about price to performance, but these are things that will need to get addressed. This is day one of early access. I expect some of these things to be addressed within the week. Namely, the frame rate in the main menu is uncapped, meaning it will use 100% of your GPU, however much strength your GPU has, and go at several hundred frames per second, which could theoretically kill your graphics card, by the way. This has been a problem in other games where it has legitimately destroyed graphics cards. So, yeah, they need to limit the frame rate of the main menu. Like, duh. Yeah, you gotta do this. This is very basic stuff. So what I did at the very beginning of the stream was I went into my NVIDIA settings, my NVIDIA control panel, and I set it so that the game cannot run beyond 60 FPS. And that does help things, and it makes it so that my stream will not be an utter slideshow, ideally, whilst in the main menu. If I bring up my task manager, I can see that my GPU is at 22% right now, and CPU is at about 30. This is fine. This is dandy. Until we get into the game. Like, actually start a campaign. So what are we gonna call our campaign? This is Launch Day. This is Launch Day. What do we want our flag to be? The Kraken? Yes, absolutely. The flag will be the Kraken, and we are going to be yellow and blue-ish. I am unsure the shade of blue, but we will be yellow and blue today for, reasons, considering what day it is today. We're going to spend as little time in the KSC as humanly possible, because the moment that the game loads, actually we're gonna get a video here at the start. Quite literally, like that little sequence at the start.
Your new space program.
It sounded exactly like
Since the dawn of Kerbal kind.
like Animal Crossing New Horizons, when you start a new game in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Like the initial, like, intercom music.
Like jewels never beheld. These untold treasures may soon reveal themselves due to the efforts recently founded Kerbal Space Program.
Oops.
Oh my, I think that might have been the only copy of the orientation film. Hold on! Slides, somewhere. Welcome to your first day running the
Welcome.
Kerbal Space Program. This campus hosts the greatest ever gathering of astronomers, astronauts, and engineers. After years of focused effort, this collection of geniuses
Geniuses.
created several very impressive buildings.
Yes, they are very impressive. It's just,
We believe we have
I wish the game would function
take our first step.
when looking at them.
The best way to advance our technologies further is to get up there and learn by doing. All we need now is somebody to show us how to put all these parts together. Well, we also need somebody to help us out with the flying. We need a lot of help, actually. That's why you're here. My name is Paige, by the way. If you need any hints, feel free to visit me over at the training center. Everything in there is well padded, so it's a great place to get up and running.
Okay, so it's a separate building, and that's where you're going to get your tutorials. Alright. We're not going to look at the tutorials. We're not going to do that. In fact, I'm going to spend as little time on this page as possible, because right now my GPU is at 97% utilization. And my frame rate is 54. Actually, that was a pretty huge difference. All right, as I zoom out, frame rate is 26. Frame rate is 26. 27 right now on my 1080 Ti on the lowest settings in the game at a rendering resolution of 1080p. Yeah. That's not good. That is not good. And as I zoom in, you can see, oh hey, look at all of these trees. Look at all of these trees and the clouds in the sky. When you know, I have this set to off, which it's supposed to be like environment scatter is not supposed to happen, and yet there's all these trees here eating up precious graphical resources. Very precious graphical resources here. That yeah. The best thing I can say is that it's not very good. It's not good. That this is less than 30 frames per second in this view. For the lowest graphic settings, like this is aliased to all hell. We've got jaggies everywhere. It doesn't look good because it's lowest settings, and yeah. That's the thing. At least you can use this list over here to pick the buildings rather than having to find it to click on it. So once we get into the VAB, though, which loads quickly, once we get in here, it's much better. We are like at our frame rate cap. The frame rate would go like super high in here when we don't actually have to render the planet. And from what I have seen on the comments thus far on the Discord server, the official KSP2 Intrepid Studios Discord server, is that this seems to be a Space Center thing. It seems to be that once you have launched and have gotten out of the Space Center, the Kerbal Space Center, frame rates improve dramatically. So, yeah, I think this is very much a too many trees situation, and I would like to completely remove them from the face of existence. You didn't know that there was a sequel to Kerbal Space Program in the works. Have you been, like, under a rock? Because this has been a thing since, like, before 2020. They were, like, supposed to release this thing in 2020. And here we are, it's 2023, and yeah, it exists. It exists. Yes, we've got stuff, things. So we've got stuff that's I'm blocking down here. We have a Kerbal manager. Okay, so there's a list of Kerbals. We've got an action group manager, just like before. We've got a trip planner. Okay, so this will tell us what our Delta V requirements would be if we want to go to any of the bodies like Minmus. So this is what we need to aim for on here for a return trip. They say, hey, take around 10,000 Delta V. Take about 10,000 if you're going to Minmus. I think that is I think that's much higher than reality, but yeah, I think that these values are purposefully higher than normal, than what you would expect, because it's assuming a specific, shall we say, skill level. It's assuming a lower skill level, I think, here, Pretty sure an even 10,000 is a bit much for Minmus. And I would expect this value to be higher for the Mun. Yes. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty much like cinched it for me, because the amount of delta V that you need for the Mun in reality, if you're looking at like minimum requirements at like higher skill level, it is significantly higher than Minmus. Significantly higher, not a difference of 240. It's way higher than that. It's a lot more to land on the Mun. Yeah, it's way higher to land there than it is on Minmus. Anyway, so I'm saying these things like without even giving proper introduction to these things. So we are in the Kerbal star system, where there are several bodies, celestial bodies, around the sun. It is very much a Earth-like system. It has one gas giant rather than two, but as things stand. So hello, welcome to the stream. You've only missed me complaining about performance at the start here, but we're going to be actually playing very, very shortly here. The Kerbal Earth-like system has two moons. It has the moon, the moon, and it has Minmus. Minmus is further away on an inclined orbit that is theoretically a bit harder to get to. You know what? That's what I'm sure they're doing. They're doing a plane transfer for Minmus, aren't they? Are they including that in here? They must be. They must be including an orbital plane maneuver in here. The delta V to change your inclination. You can dramatically lower the amount of delta V if you are launching to intercept while Minmus, like in one of the 2 points where Minmus is at your current orbital inclination around Kerbal. But anyway, I've played KSP1 a little bit, if you couldn't already tell. Minmus in general is a bit more difficult to get to, but it is smaller than the moon, and it is much easier to land on Minmus than it is to land on the moon. And it is therefore easier to return from Minmus than it is to land on the moon. In fact, you can pretty much subtract this 3,400 entirely from like all of the calculations, because this is not assuming aero braking to land back on Kerbal. What this does, this round trip calculation, is it's calculating that you are going to return to a stable Kerbal orbit. Most of the time you're going to be landing again, and you don't need to do that, and you can use the atmosphere to slow yourself down. So you could just like subtract this 3,400 from the game. You do need to consider the escape from the current body, but you don't need to spend that much to land back at Kerbal again. So yeah, this needs to have some extra settings. This trip planner absolutely needs to have settings that let you pick like aero braking for return trips, that the intent is to land back on Kerbal, so that you actually get a better like value here. 10k to Minmus is a lot. What does it tell me for Elu? 1758, 17,580. Oh boy, Elu is the is the Pluto analog. That's much further out. How about Eve? Can you tell me Eve? That's about right, yeah. 28,460. But, again, it's not taking into account aerobraking on Eve if you're planning to land. It's like calculating twice here when it really only needs to calculate the once. Eve has an extremely thick atmosphere. This is the Venus analog, and it's very easy to land. As long as you have proper thermal protection, landing on Eve is not the problem. It's one of the easiest things that you can do if you get there. It's leaving Eve that's the problem. It's leaving that's the problem, because the air is super thick and dense, and it is really hard to escape. Thus, 8,000 delta V on here for the escape from Eve. You need a lot of thrust as well, a lot of thrust to weight ratio. In fact, that's not even in here as a thing, the amount of thrust to weight ratio that you need to even lift off the surface of Eve. And yeah, you don't really need that 3,400. You do need more, granted, if you are coming in from an interplanetary intercept back into the Kerbal system. You you really do not want to be coming in at interplanetary speeds, trying to hit the atmosphere of Kerbal at interplanetary speeds. Because, yeah, that's a good way to explode from the thermal load. Yeah, coming back from the moon, coming back from Minmus, it's fine. Coming back from another planet, you cannot go that low. You will have to do some sort of a burn from the upper atmosphere, get some help on the first pass, just enough so that you don't leave the sphere of influence of Kerbal. As long as you are just grazing the inside of the atmosphere, if you're coming in interplanetary, it should be okay. And as long as you just get captured, it's just a matter of time on each orbit. Each time you fall into the atmosphere, your apoapsis will slowly decline. It takes a while, but you will land without having to spend too much delta V to land, even from interplanetary transfers. Which I guess we could show, since this is sandbox mode. That's all we have access to, by the way, right now, is we have sandbox mode. In fact, I should, how about we go to the tracking station when we actually look at these various bodies. So this is Kerbal. If that looks like Africa, that's pretty much because of it. It is. That's Africa. That's Iberia. Over here we've got like India and China. We've got a giant crater up here. Essentially, the way that Kerbal was originally designed was it was essentially just an Earth topography, just randomized, thrown into a program that like shifted all of the actual Earth features around. So yeah, every time I look at this, it's like, yeah, that's Africa, and KSC is at the equator on Africa for all intents and purposes. And that's the only space center we have available to us, and we can focus on the moon. Here's the moon in all of its glory. All these wonderful craters on the moon. And this is on the lowest graphics settings, by the way, on how this looks. So it still looks really good even on the lowest settings, which does say something. It should go lower than this, frankly, on lower settings. Just again, some of that accessibility stuff that's just straight up missing from the current state of the game. Minmus out here. You can get a relative distance. So the moon is here from Kerbin, right in the middle, and then Minmus is way out here, and Minmus is on a mildly inclined orbit compared to the moon. Yeah, we are inclined on Minmus, and Minmus is small and green, minty. Minmus is mint ice cream. That's what we got to go there and get. We got to get some mint ice cream, because clearly this is super shiny. This is our ice. This is our mint ice in here. And they did change this around. There's supposed to be lots of flat areas, lots of flats on Minmus. Minmus is much smaller, has much lower gravity than the moon as well. Over at Eve, which is our Venus analog, we've got lots of cloud cover, but Eve, note, does have oceans. So that's another thing that you have to be very careful of if you're going to go actually and explore Eve, is that, yeah, it has oceans. It apparently has this big circular thing with a middle island in there, as well as being super thick atmosphere. It also has a moon, Gilly. Gilly is tiny, much smaller than Minmus is. It's not spherical. It's basically just an asteroid that's been captured, and it is at an inclined and highly elliptical orbit around Eve, so a little bit more difficult to get to. We have Moho, which is our Mercury analog. This is the closest body to the sun, which is Kerbal. Mercury here, Moho, should have a hole, a massive hole somewhere on it, like polar. I always forget which one, but we can't see it from here. Yeah, this is bleak. This is bleak. Looks like it got smacked. It looks like it got smacked at some point. It's got these big like crater rings around it. Yeah, this one's hard to get to because it's so close to the sun. When you get in here, you'll be coming in very, very fast, and it is difficult to slow down to get captured at Moho. Leaving also can be a problem. How's the game so far? Performance issues. That's the big thing. We haven't made a vehicle yet, but the Kerbal Space Center itself has some severe performance problems. Duna is Mars, clearly, and it has a moon not like Mars, an actual, real, large moon in the form of Ike over there. Yeah, this is basically Mars, and Ike here is. This is closer to a Charon, I think that's the name, analog. Basically Pluto's moon. This is more of that type of a situation. They unfortunately don't have this set currently where basically Duna is like orbiting a bit because of the size of the moon. And they orbit around this Berry Center that's like outside of the thing. But yeah, this is as close as we're gonna get, because Ike is pretty big compared to its parent body. Dres is a Ceres analog, large body in an asteroid belt. It apparently has rings now. So that's new. That's new. Drez has rings. Pretty rings around it. And it's like got a ridge around its equator. Interesting. Is this a one-off or a regular thing? It's a one-off for this day, Friday. But if I am enjoying myself, if I'm enjoying the gameplay, minus like performance quibbles, I will continue with this on Sunday and on Sundays going forward, ideally. So the idea is that this will be regular, but it won't be on Fridays, it'll be on Sundays. Going forward, it's just that this is the launch day. We're here for launch. We're here to launch some rockets, blow up some stuff, complain about the Kerbal Space Center's bad, awful performance. Jewel is Jupiter. This is Jupiter. It's even got the great red spot on it. It's even got the spot. Multiple spots, actually. So yeah, this is Jupiter. They did do some stuff with the clouds here. Looks very nice compared to KSP1. And as such, as it is a Jupiter analog, it has several moons. We've got Tylo, with all of these wonderful features on it. We've got Lathe, which is an oceanic moon with an atmosphere. Yes, oceanic moon with an atmosphere. Now we have Bop, which is basically a tiny asteroid, and it got bopped. It got bopped at some point. You have Pole, which is basically a hunk of sulfur. That's what that looks like. That's just a massive hunk of sulfur. And we have Val. There you go. This is the icy moon. Like Europa or Enceladus around the real gas giants. And then Elu, that's our Pluto analog. Don't know if they decided to put a heart on this one, but oh well, there we go, there it is. Don't really see it here. Wouldn't surprise me if somewhere there was like a small heart. So that's a thing. That is the Kerbaler system as currently stands. You'll also be able to have all of your ships that are out and about in space will be available from this tracking station menu. So you can, keep track of things. And this is also where we should be able to see the interstellar bodies once those get added into the game. Because there will be more added. There will be additional stars added into the game with their own planetary systems around them. This stuff is not currently available in the game. Now, I don't want to escape. I want to leave and go to the VAB. Let's design a ship. Let's do a thing. What do we have? We only have one pod currently. Okay, that's just in the favorites menu. All right. And the game does include some stock vehicles. My God, those pictures are terrible. So there's some planes, some rovers, K2 rocket intended to reach the moon and Minmus and return. Assuming Jeb isn't the pilot, yeah. So what does the K2 look like here? What do we got going on for us on this vessel? 6,193 meters per second. Yeah, that's what I figured. That is closer to what I would expect for a Mun or Minmus rocket. That is so much closer to what I would expect, and yet the trip planner to go to the Mun for a round trip tells us that we need 10,240 when this ship that literally is stock that tells us that it can go to the Moon and back is 6,193. That sure tells you something about the how wrong and overestimating this trip planner is. Since, as I said, it ignores aerobraking. This ship was designed around the concept of aerobraking on the return. If you subtract like 3,400 from 10,240, you're still not even getting the 6,193 here. So like there's stuff here that's just not accurate to begin with. I probably would not actually trust this specific ship to land on the Moon. I don't think I would trust this one to land. Is it a lander? Is it even a lander? Hold on. I don't see legs. Oh, are those legs? What am I holding? What even are you? It doesn't like tell me on this list like what am I even holding? Hello? What am I holding? What am I? What am I holding? Why are you like not selecting the thing? Like, hello? Game? Yeah, that's a little awkward. I have to like reload this again. I just want to like right click on it. So those are solar panels. And it doesn't even group these things. Like, these should all be grouped. We have a battery in here, something like that. This is not a lander. Okay, well that tells me something. That this is only supposed to get there, but not land, which is super weird. Which is super weird that it just gets you there and doesn't land. And it's got these monoprop things. Yeah, I don't like this design. Yeah, I don't like this design. Goodbye. That's not a particularly good design in reality for anyone's needs. So what do we want to begin with here? Shall we just start with a larger capsule? Something medium, and it's got our colors by default, which is great, and you can actually see through the windows. You can see through the windows at the actual seats in there. So the cabin interiors are now just part of the design, and you can even see from all access ways, all windows looking inside. So that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. This gives me... How many Kerbals fit in here? Why does it not tell me how many Kerbals this fits? How do I clear my thingy again? I want to clear my selection, and yet I'm so used to Factorio that I hit Q, and that's actually rotation and not like clear the thing. I have to like go over here and just dump it. Alright, give me a heat shield next. Thermal, yes. Oh, you can actually put inflatable heat shields. Interesting. We're just gonna do that. So we will have a heat shield at the bottom of our capsule. We're going to need parachutes, medium, no, small. That one. Hello. Parachute. There's currently no parts to do science, which sort of sucks that they don't even have the parts in. Would I like to have a reaction wheel? I think so. And I would also like a rather large battery. Where are the batteries? In here. That's better. And then we need... Oh boy. The Gigantor. One of the largest photovoltaic arrays available. Extend. Woohoo. Hello. Hello, extended. That's a thing. All right. Okay. Just cuz I don't think, well, we won't really need to have an antenna on here, since we're not like transmitting anything and we're gonna have real pilot. I think we'll be fine. Those are very famous last words, by the way. The ladders need to be added next. Alright, now we need to add a decoupler. And then fuel tanks. Methalox is fine. Medium. Okay, this is slightly problematic, because I see here they've included on this list parts that are not perfectly round. They have them sorted, thank God, but they have like the aerodynamic ones first and not the round ones, which is like a little awkward. Alright, what do I want to land with? Actually, you know what? These things are like really nice because they're aerodynamic covered on the large ones. These other ones are like KSP1 parts. Think that works? I hope that works. You think that works? I think that works. What we need is a ladder. Great question. Where are the ladders again? They're right here. Extendo. Why do you not actually reach? Like that blows. That's like not even remotely. Part? Where are you extending? Le fa? Alright, well, no. That's better. But it does need to be higher. Hello, doll. I think that should theoretically work. There's a little problem here. It's not that. The issue here is that it's trying to like go across to different parts, and it does not know what to do. That should do it right there. Huzzah! That should be ideal. And then these are handholds. These are these are ladder. Now this isn't as important for where we're planning on going, but it will be very important if we took this assembly and tried to go to somewhere with higher gravity. An actual other planet. This would be more important because we wouldn't be able to use our jetpacks to raise ourselves off the ground. Hi, Dolly. Okay, how much Delta V? We've got 2K, 2.1K with that. We will pull that in for now, and we will pull those in for now. So now we have to launch it. We have to be able to launch it and make sure that the staging is accurate here. Yep. So we're going to take our coupler, another stacked decoupler, And we need to get this thing off of Kerbin. So now we're going to take the much larger medium tanks. We're going to take the mainsail. And I will just have to guess about the thrust to weight ratio on this thing, because it just does not... it isn't telling me my thrust to weight ratio currently, and there's no mods yet. Normally I would have, in KSP1, I would have like Kerbal Engineer and MechJeb telling me what the thrust to weight ratios are at each stage, but oh well. Don't have that information. That's classified information. We cannot have it. It shall not be stated anywhere what our thrust to weight ratio is, so I just have to imagine that that stage will go. It's probably relatively low, though, so what I do want to do is have some extra boosters. I do want some extra boosters. I also want some stabilizers. I definitely want the 4 stabilizers. Oh yes, and you can even do like procedural stuff with them. Alright, next. I need decouplers. Don't think I need an aerodynamic decoupler, but I do want to have those. Yeah, that's at the sides. Depends upon how large I want this to be as to the exact positioning of those decouplers. How large do I want these sides to be? Does this include solid boosters? It does. Probably don't need that big. But that's all we got? Ugh. Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, that's a yikes. That's a little too big. But this is also, like, too small. It's also a bit small. Whoops, can I undo? Yes, I can undo. I can undo with a Control Z. Alright, then we will do the 2. They will be set a bit lower, and they will need to have some nose cones. That's a little too low, actually. There we go. That is most definitely a thing. Can it get to the moon and back? Or could it get to Minmus, land, and return at 7,887 delta V? Here, we can move me. We can see that that's what the numbers are right now. 7,887 delta V as calculated by the game. Don't know. We'll find out. We shall find out. Am I forgetting anything important? Is this a good question? I am not certain. Are we missing anything? So our top section, command and control, has a heat shield, it has a reaction control wheel, it has a single inline battery with 3 large solar panels. We have our command pod, we have a parachute for that command pod. I'm assuming that it's going to be enough. And then we have a tank with a engine. And then we have all of this. I could add another central tank. Medium. I could do that. And that'll get us 8161, which is safer. And makes the side boosters more reasonable on their height compared to the height of the whole thing. I could push it up a little bit more because we are running a bit tall. No, not that high. No, still a little bit lower. Yeah, I want the booster, side boosters to be a little bit lower than the main sail in the middle. That should be good. What's the like center of mass? Yeah, right around where the center of mass is where I want the coupler for the sides. So that should be good. Let's vehicle is fly safe. That's the auto-generated name is fly safe. Okay. This is this is Lunar MD1 Lander 1. Workspace file name. Okay, well, whatever, we'll do that. And we will hit launch from Launchpad 1. Because you can apparently select your launchpad as well. Are we ready to fly? I hope so. I hope I'm oriented correctly. Maybe. Orient up, yes, SAS up for the moment. Yes, this is all the basic tutorial things. What's east? Oh, we've got our nav ball, that's really hard to see. That's east. Or that... It's showing down as north. It's showing this as north. Huh. There's an N. There's an N there. I want to go that way. I think. Map. Well, whatever. I'll figure it out, I guess. That is not the correct staging. Where is the staging on the... Where's the staging on the solids? Oh, it's there. It's at the very beginning. Okay, it's the big thing that I'm blocking. Is right here, right in front of my face, is an expanded view of the thingy. Now what's... Ah, that is a button. That is most definitely a button. What other buttons do we have? We have this flight report in progress. We have a parts manager. Non-stageable resources, okay. Kerbal manager. Right now it's just Bill. Can we fill the pod? Do we have anyone else? No, it didn't even like add other Kerbals. Hello? Game? Well, whatever. We have Bill on this, and that's all we have. Buttons to go to map and tracking station. We have our time down here, as well as the ability to pause. So we have a mission timer as well as the universal time that has passed. Because I think that's mission and universal. Velocities. This is controllable through the mouse. Okay. Okay, that's that. X, Z, X, Z. Control. Shift. Left control. Shift. Rotation. Q and E. Air surfaces. Okay, those are all moving fine. T for SAS, R for RCS. Don't need the RCS, pretty sure. Yeah, so that should send me east by hitting right. If I need to do a rotation, I will. I think we're ready. I think we're ready to go. All right. Well, that's a thing. Try to go a little bit that way. Try to turn. Just a bit. Try to turn. Oh, it looks like we do need to in fact rotate. I do want to point prograde. Oh, that we're losing control. We are in fact losing control. Yeah, this is that's not good. we need some struts, clearly, to hold things together. We are now rotating uncontrollably. Woohoo. Try to stop this rotation. Yeah, we've almost burned out the center stages, at which point, or those side stages, so okay, it just said goodbye. Ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Let's try to actually control this thing now. and try to get where we're trying to go. What's the apoapse? Is there a thing that tells me, like, from not the map view what my apoapsis is? There. Yeah, that should be fine. Let me do that. We're at 119. I mean, getting out of the atmosphere is what, 80? Perry will be what now? After that node? I know I've added a maneuver planner, thanks. Okay, we start our burn in 1 minute 20. I need to tell it to go to the maneuver node, which is actually right down here under the SAS control. And it will rotate me towards that maneuver node. Looks like there's some lighting issues. We must have crossed into space. Have we? I think so. What is our current altitude? What is our current altitude? I don't see it on here. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast. And then burn for 1.5 minutes. Wonderful. We are burning, and since we are in space, I can extend the panels. Ta-da. Hello, panels. Well, that gave me a bit more oomph than I was expecting on that initial staging. Yeah, those boosters needed some struts. Most definitely. Is that supposed to be like charring? Is that supposed to be like charring from the solid boosters? Maybe. Alright, so where do we want to go? Now that we are basically in orbit now, once we get the periaps to greater than 80, looks like about 75-ish is periaps. Alright, we're here. We are in an orbit around Kerbin. We did not die on the first attempt to leave the atmosphere. Huzzah! Success! We've done the thing. Part one of many, and my yeah, you know, the moment that it switched to orbital, my graphics card went from like 90 some odd % usage down to 15 in this map view. Oh boy. Then from this view, we go up to 95-ish on this map view. On this view. Frame rate is 46, 47, not even 60 on the lowest settings at 1080p on a 1080 Ti. So, yay. We've got some like nebulae out there that we can see. And there's the moon. There's Moon. Hello, Moon. Mun and Minmus out there. So, Mun or Minmus? Take a pick. Which one to go to and land on? Mun or Minmus? Take your pick. Yell it out. Yell it out in the chat. Mun or Minmus? When you eventually hear the question. It really does not matter which one. As I've said, Minmus is harder to physically get to, make the maneuver to get to it, but once you are there, it's easier to land. The moon is easy to get to, but harder to land. Because it is bigger. Also, save. Save. Gotta make sure that you are quick saving. It doesn't actually tell you that you've quick saved. I'm hitting F5. I'm assuming that's the quick save button, but anyway, no takers. No takers between Mun or Minmus. Do I have to like flip a coin between Mun and Minmus? Because I has coin. I can flip coin. Alright, coin. Heads is Minmus. We got tails. So, we're going to the Mun. We're going to the Mun! Mun. Alright, well, Mun is, as I said, a bit easier to get to. Essentially, you start burning for the moon once you get to Moon Rise, which will be somewhere over here. Somewhere over here. Can I move this node? Yes, I can move the node on the orbit. That's great. And then burn prograde until you meet up with the orbit of the moon. Looks like we are... Oh, not quite there yet. Should get the... we're a little bit inclined, so I will need to adjust for that inclination. Can I do another node out here? Yes, I can. I will need to go down a bit. A plane change maneuver somewhere out here-ish. So the great thing about KSP2 is that it actually shows you your in and out on the sphere of influence. At the moon, so it'll show you where you're going in and where you're coming out. If I focus the moon, if I set it as a target, it actually tells me where that plane is, which is good. It doesn't show me the connection when I'm focused there. Interesting. How much delta V is that node? I'm like doing all this stuff and yet the node itself isn't telling me how much delta V it is. I'll do it here. That's better. That's better. Yeah, where does it tell me about the delta V of the maneuver node? Ah, so the sphere of influence is very small for the actual capture there. I need to probably pull back a bit here on this maneuver. And then on this one, I can probably shift it a little bit further out. I'm just fiddling at this point. Don't mind me while I fiddle. I'm just mildly concerned about the amount of time that I have in that sphere of influence. Because ultimately I do need to make another maneuver when I'm in there to actually get captured by the moon. I think we're going in here and out here. I don't know, it's a little weird. It's a little weird. Little bit, but I think we will manage. Yeah, I think we will manage. Okay. So that's our maneuver. Right there. If I did this, if I shift a bit, the timing. Aha. That's better. That's actually much better. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. That's what I want. It's a lot closer to what I want. So just by changing the timing of the first maneuver, I can get it right where I want it. And I could probably adjust this guy too. Pull it back a fair bit. Yeah. Or even delete it entirely, and we just have a encounter now without having to do any change. So yeah, I'll take that. One maneuver is fine. Is perfectly reasonable and okay. Please point at the maneuver, if at all possible. I really wish that the maneuver told me exactly how much delta V it uses. It tells me 851. Okay, it's right there. It's in extremely tiny text, but it tells me that this will use 851 delta V of my 1,935 left on this stage. Okay. I told it to point at the maneuver. And the maneuver's that blue spot. So I don't know why it's not really moving. We're going to accelerate a little bit our time. Oh, we'll end up there. Okay. We'll end up at that blue spot by the time we are, in fact, ready to start the burn. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Game paused. Game unpaused. Could you actually point at the maneuver, please? Do we not have enough control to point at the maneuver? Game? Oh, we were. It's blue. It's... Okay. Fine. I was just misinterpreting the icon. I thought it was that blue part, but no, that's actually, I think, radial in. A radial in icon. The icons for the maneuver nodes are white on the nav ball. They're white on orange and blue background. Yeah, that totally makes sense. 15 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And we will stop our burn in 20 seconds. Now, apparently in KSP2, you can, in fact, have time warp on while you are burning. However, it will lock your throttle while doing so you have to keep in mind. We have stopped. How'd we do? Not. That's better. Better. Okay. Just need to go a little bit further. Alright. Well, we're on our way to the moon. We will have our encounter. And once we have gotten caught in the sphere of influence of the moon, we will drop this bottom stage as we prepare for landing maneuvers. We have 2,173 Delta V with which to land and leave the moon and get back safely onto Kerbin. Oh boy. Save. 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 Overwrite with the same name. Save. 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 Warp, please. Can I warp to the sphere of influence auto-magically? The answer is maybe. The answer is no. What the hell did you just do, game? What in the actual flying F did you just do? And I tried spamming for it to stop time warp, and it did not respond to me trying to tell it to stop the time warp. It did nothing. Nothing at all. It got stuck it got stuck. So what happened was that I must have clicked on this orbit. Yeah, I clicked on this orbit rather than the one that I was on. So it time warped me to this spot in the orbit on the next pass after having gone through the sphere of influence. That was just me not clicking correctly, because I thought that I clicked on... I should be able to click on this icon. I should be able to click on you and warp there. But no, you can't. You don't. You have to just click arbitrarily beforehand. It will warp you there. And then we are entering the next sphere of influence shortly. Come on. Hurry it up. Okay, we're here. Yes, celebrations. We are in the sphere of influence of the moon. Periapsis. Maneuver. We need to get caught in the sphere of influence of the moon. That's okay, right there. Yes, that's fine. We will be spending approximately 229 Delta V for that maneuver. How close does it get me if I say warp to maneuver? Save. If I warp to maneuver, how close does it get me? Within 40 seconds. Oh, it dropped my stage. I'm sorry, what? When did it do that? Hello? I didn't want it to stage. When did it do that? Hello? Game? Time warp there. Get into the thingy. Yes, we're here, I know. Thanks. Maneuver. Bring it on in. Okay. We have not accidentally staged. Right, point at maneuver. Oh, it actually tells you, like, how thick you are in the atmosphere. If you're, like, in space, or if you're, like, really low, or in middle or upper levels of atmosphere on here. And this is vertical speed. Ooh. Ooh, that actually gives you a vertical speed indicator on here now. That's relatively easy to see. Gives you the velocity relative to the ground. Does you your exact orientation, your orbital velocity. Interesting. Alright, now we can do warp to maneuver. Since apparently it gives you 40 seconds of leeway. We are here. We are still with our core stage. Alrighty. Where's that moon? Moon! Moon! Moon? I don't see the moon. I don't seize it. We have 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 2, 1, stop. Ah, we have overdone it slightly. Maybe? Oh no. No, we're fine. We're fine. Is okay. Down here at Periaps, thereabout, we're going to bring us in, circularize-ish. We're gonna go ahead, tell us to do the thing. This will use another 136 Delta V. Yeah, this'll be... We're fine. We're fine. Now I have to remember how to land. That's a wonderful, wonderful question. It's been a while since the last time I landed a spacecraft in Kerbal Space Program. It's been a while since I played KSP-1, especially without mods. We'll see if I can remember how to land properly, because something tells me that the game isn't going to tell me the time I have to start my engines on the suicide burn. So we may have to like spend a lot more fuel. Alright, warp to the maneuver. There's the moon. Hello, moon. Lack of solar exposure. Well, duh. It's like part ineffective. Lack of solar exposure. Duh. You don't need to tell me that, game. You don't need to like put a big yellow warning every single time my vessel goes around the dark side of the planet or the body. Like, duh. 3, 2, 1, go. 2, 1, stop. We are in a successful orbit around the moon. This is the point where we are going to save the game. Mun orbit. And we are, in fact, going to point ourselves retrograde. And we are going to pull in that periaps quite a bit. And we are going to, we're going to warp there. Because I do want to land while it's in daylight. Okay, now... you know what? We're gonna go all the way up to there. And we're gonna land somewhere in this region, ideally. Alright, pointed retrograde. We are going to... I wish I had SAS nodes with respect to my target, yes. Now, the question I have about this landing, about this, like, impact site, is that I don't know if it is taking into consideration the rotation of the body on its, like, marker. And yeah, it's fine to say, hey, you're going to crash, but... or at least you're going to land. But I would like to have it be an accurate indicator as to the exact positioning with respect to the body rotating beneath you. And, like, on Kerbin, if you're in the atmosphere, of course, the atmosphere will cause drag, and that will slow you down more than what this orbital indicator would suggest. And there's actually a mod called the Trajectories mod for KSP1 that actually will show you a more accurate representation of where you are going to land. It puts, like, a great big X on where you're going to land, and it will show you, like, extra red lines for orbit lines of how the atmosphere is going to impact your trajectory as you get slowed down. But yeah, so I need a shift anti-target, I think, and is that going to put me in the correct orientation? More realistically, I need to be horizontal negative is where I would prefer being. But, I guess retrograde is going to have to be it for now. We have, in fact, used that, so I'm not gonna use that anymore. We can, in fact, extend those legs. Actually, is there a thing if I hit L? L does not control landing legs. That's dumb, but anyway. Alright, so what is my velocities looking like? Suppose we can... hello? Status off. Activate. These drums, though, these drums are going. In fact, let's get that, music's a little higher now. Enjoy the foreboding drums. Now, I'm going to do this to slow down my orbital velocity considerably. I'm looking to specifically bleed off as much of my... Oh, good. We are, in fact, in a different thing now. How are we looking? So you can point north, south, prograde, retrograde, up or down. I really want an SAS that's a horizontal velocity, vertical velocity, or like minus, like point in the direction of my horizontal, point in my direction of my vertical. Interesting that it doesn't actually... Slowly but surely. That's the way. That's the way right there. We've landed. Why not? We're here. Hello, Moon. We hath arrived. Turn off SAS. We should be fine. Well, that was a journey and a half. We've landed on a pretty flat location. Right up in here. We can EVA. No, it is not. Your Kerbal is now outside. Duh. Could you... Oh, I have to, like, push F to grab these things. Extend that. And ta-da. Hi. We're here. Do we have lights? Like more lights? Lights? There should be a button for lights. Settings. Inputs. Lights. Engage lights. U. The U key, I guess, I think it doesn't have lights. That's disappointing. Because they're supposed to show up like here, 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 here. There's like 4 light sources. And I'm pushing you, and we don't have lights. We have Jetpack. Jetpack has some lights. But, oh well. Plant a flag. Flag. Launch day hype. Go. Ta-da! We're here. We hath arrived. So, now, can we get back safely? That's the next question. Can we then get back safely as we can clip the camera under the terrain? Ah, boy. All right, buddy. Shall we leave? That's very interesting how this behaves. So as I go down on these ladders, I have to hit F to grab the next like pair, the next set of the ladders. Each time I need to go to a new part. It's not seamless. I just stop until I hit F to go to the next thing. But it works, and that's all that really matters. It works. It's okay. Our frame rate is like 30 on the moon. And I will note, there is rock scatter, even though I have told the game to turn off environment props. Okay? Even though I have turned off the environment props, there are still rocks that have spawned from random scatter rocks. This is, shall we say, a bug? Pretty major bug, considering the concerns about performance that folks have had going into the launch day. So this can be brought back in. Oh boy. Why no SAS control? Okay, well, just hit T then. We are going to be pointed up. Up, I say. Up. Go. Up. Prograde. And, like, go this way. Sure, why not? Just start going. Just start going. Stability. Just be stability for me. Thanks, as I point that direction. Just point me here. Okay, we have 944 Delta V to get home. So I think it'll be easiest to circularize first and do a second maneuver when it'll be easier for me to escape and get into the atmosphere on my escape rather than here. So what we're going to do is we're going to point at my maneuver. Since this will only use 167 Delta V. The hard part is behind us, getting physically up and out into an orbit around the moon. Now we just need to warp to our maneuver node, which will stop us at about 40 seconds or 39 seconds to the node. Give us some time, or at least in this case, it gave me 30 seconds. Oh boy. 20. So I'm imagining that when they do introduce science mode and science parts, it'll be a little bit harder because the science experiments are going to make the vehicle larger. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We are orbital. Now to just come up with a maneuver. Going out. At a position that'll help us get into a lower orbit. So you see, that gets me to a lower orbit around Kerbin. Gets me out, but it doesn't get me in the sphere of influence. But I have enough Delta V. I can do another maneuver, say around... Yeah, around when we escape. Because that's close enough to the apoapsis, where I can just go retrograde. Until Perry is within... the atmosphere. Really? That's still not within the atmosphere, huh? Alright, that's within the atmosphere, and it's a little bit much, but I can adjust that later. Alright, so we have two maneuvers. We have this one, which I don't know what the actual Delta V value is of it, because it won't tell me. But I'm going to imagine that it's going to be less than this 772 that I currently have. Alright, let us warp to our first burn, which is here. Make sure I'm pointed at the thing. "30 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay, that removed my next maneuver. Great. That's a little too much. 35, that's also a little too much. Alright, that's close enough. I'm imagining that I'm going to undershoot it a little bit. So now... we need to warp until we're out of the sphere of influence. Unless it'll just let me warp to the node. It allows me to warp right to the node. Okay. Despite the sphere of influence change. So there's a bit of coding that has changed, I think, regarding the changes in sphere of influence. It used to be a little bit awkward transitioning between the different sphere of influences. Game did not like time acceleration through sphere of influence changes. So we can see home. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay, that's a little low on the periaps. I want it to be around 5,000. Or 50,000, excuse me. Yeah, right around there, that's good. That should be good. Now, theoretically, I do not need my engine after this. I could dump this now, but what I want to do is when I get into the planet's atmosphere, I want to use the rest of my fuel to help slow down before jettisoning the bottom. Oh boy. Yeah. So, now we can accelerate. Time warp. Time warped around there. When are we going to enter the atmosphere? What is our current altitude? 358 kilometers. Could you point retrograde, please? I think it is. At around 75 or 70, we should be entering the atmosphere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in those panels. And as we approach periaps, we are definitely in. We are entering atmosphere soon, very soon. Our little indicator here is going down slowly. We're still way up in the atmosphere though. Under 60, we can be considered atmospheric now. Just gonna wait until we get really close to peri and then fire the last of our Delta V. Right around here is fine. Just gonna use the rest of it. Hit stability. Go to the side. Yes, we're out of fuel. Can no longer change course. This was planned. Game. Stage. There. Staged. Now hit retrograde. Because we are gonna re-enter eventually. See, the apoapsis is decreasing. It looks like we are going to end up skipping on here. So for now, I'm gonna extend the panels again. Because we're out of the atmosphere for now. Yeah, whatever. We're not running out of power. Just point retrograde. Oh god, like 19 FPS? Are you kidding me? Okay, back in the atmosphere. 19 FPS. Get the panels brought back in. Yes, I know I sort of did that on purpose. Thanks, game. Each time our periapsis will get lower, and we will eventually land. think we still have one more pass. Yeah, we're starting... Ooh, we are... They're starting to get, like, really stable, actually, at our current altitude. No, we're increasing now. So we will have at least one more pass. Extend again. Yeah, I know. I know, game. I'm in the dark side of the planet. You don't need to constantly tell me. You do not need to constantly be telling me that my solar panels are not bringing in energy. Hello, Abe. Welcome. Looks cool. Yeah, I just wish the frame rate wasn't like trash. It is nice, though. It does sort of look nice. This is on like the lowest graphics settings too. We can see our dude inside. He is animating. He is actually in the cockpit. He's looking at stuff in there. That's probably the best part, is you can just look through the windows and it's actually animated. It's live. It's happening in there. When you have all multiple Kerbals in the thing, it'll show all of them together doing their thing. So how are we looking here? What's our altitude? Oh, we're gonna skip again. Oh boy. Oh boy, we got another skip. I guess I know for next time that I should put the periaps into the 40s to begin with, rather than at upper 50s. Mid 50s. So yeah, we are just returning from the moon after having landed, planted a flag, and took off again. We needed to reload a couple of saves, a couple of times, because of issues. Totally not my fault issues. We're trying to re-enter right now. That is what we are currently doing. We are aero braking right now. We are aero braking. And every single time I bring the panels in, it's like, hey, your panels aren't working. So in the current state of the game, there are no science experiments at all. We do not have any science parts at all. All we have in the launch state of the game is the sandbox mode, and there is no science. We're skipping again? Or are we still going down? I think we're still going down. Apoapsis is quickly decreasing. Okay, we are landing this time. I will also note that in the current state of the game, it appears as if we do not actually have any heating effects, any like thermal stuff going on. So that's a thing. The effects of the atmosphere of drag appears to be a thing that exists, but it seems like heating is not a mechanic that is currently in the game. Even though they have like the part for it, like the set of heat shields. They have the heat shields, but we don't have like the graphical effects of heating. We don't have like temperature bars. Now there was a setting in here about temperature. There was something related to temperature that I saw in the settings. I just don't know where it's at. I don't see it in here. It was in here, and yet now it's not. Temperature gauge is on. Apply. So that setting under user interface, it toggles appearance of temperature gauges when parts receive a dangerous amount of heat. So yeah, in the current state, it's basically KSP1 with fewer features. In that it does not have science mode, it does not have campaign, it does not have any of the other features that are supposed to eventually come for KSP2 that they had advertised. It's missing the thermodynamics currently, and the performance is complete and utter garbage. But it looks nice. It has the ability to recolor parts. All the parts can be recolored with whatever colors you want. I just have it as my space agency's main and accent colors, which are yellow and blue, I hope for obvious reasons for today. Yeah. And that's like the only new thing that it has right now. It has the new textures for all the planetary bodies, all the bodies in the game, in the Kerbal system, have brand new graphics for all of it. They all look much nicer. They've all been rebuilt from scratch, essentially. And the VAB's been completely redesigned on how you build stuff. It is a lot more performant in the VAB. New UI, of course, that like nav balls off to the side now, etc., etc. When do I deploy my parachute? I don't even remember like what altitude I should be deploying my parachute. I think like 8K, somewhere along those lines. Go. Parachute, I think, just deployed. Parachute has been deployed. And it should go off at 1,000 by default. Unfortunately, it's nighttime when it's landing. And I don't have my legs anymore. Don't have my landing legs. How sad. It has deployed. We have slowed or slowing to 12.5. That's a little fast. That's a little fast. Let's see if it like destroys the heat shield. 500 meters. I just need you to stay stable at this point. Or point up. Pointing up is generally good. Less than 300 meters. Gosh, if only this thing had lights. If only the thing had lights! There's seemingly something with a light in there shining it on his face. It's the screens. The screens have lights So we can actually see the Kerbal faces, even in the dark, because the screen's light their faces. And we have landed. We have arrived. You can apparently repack the parachute without an engineer. Unless Bill is an engineer. I don't think Bill is an engineer. I think Bill is a pilot. Or is he? I don't remember. I don't know. I don't know if they actually have jobs in the current state of the game. If the Kerbals have, like, bespoke roles. I don't think so. Well, that excursion took a while of real time. That took a fair bit of real time. So, how do we then recover our doohickey? What button should I push? Flight report? All it says is flight in progress. Revert to launch. Close. No, I'm done. I'm home. Game. I want to recover the vessel. How do I now recover the vessel? In KSP, it was a very, very obvious big thing that popped up that let you hit recover vessel. Recover vessel is here. Well done. So they have the thing in the escape menu. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, we're not gonna tell you to come home. So during this flight, we had a structural failure on a linkage between a decoupler and the core stage, which happened to happen at the most perfect time ever to not cause us any issues. It happened at the exact moment I was going to decouple anyway. Essentially, the side boosters had just used up all of their fuel. They had just shut down, and I was going to decouple them to start my center stage. And one of them broke off before I could hit the button to decouple. Like, okay, sure thing. Oh boy. So yeah, that's stuff. Highest G-force experience, 46G. Glorious. Bill is basically gooified with that G-force load, but anyway, we are in fact okay. It says mission time 4:53:43. Close. So, huh? Why am I not? The what? The what? Well, that's buggy as all hell. KSC? Why did you not just take me straight back to the Space Center, game? Do I now have a, like, vessel? Oh yeah, there's going to be colonies eventually, by the way. You can set up static structures on other planetary bodies, and there will eventually be multiplayer in the game. Apparently, it will be co-op and or competitive multiplayer, where you will have the ability to play with up to, I think it's 4 total people can play together in a single agency, space agency, and then Kerbin itself will have the ability to have multiple space agencies on it. I think it's going to be 4 individual space agencies, is the rumor mills currently around that. So up to 16 players playing on a single map, of which you will have 4 teams of 4. And like competitive contracts and all that as part of it. But all of that would depend upon even having a contract system to begin with a monetary system to begin with. So it's like, do we care? I don't think I care about any of that. So we went to the moon, we planted a flag. Next, what do we want to do? Where do we want to go? So we launched this thing. This is the vehicle that we launched. And overall, I'm pretty satisfied with its performance. It got us to the moon, landed on the moon, and came back and landed safely on Kerbin. Even in an unskilled fashion, with issues where we need struts up here. We need some struts. To connect the top specifically. Yeah, we need some stuffs up here. Don't know if one is going to be okay, but yeah, definitely needs something, because when these 2 boosters lit, the tops like went inwards. They went inwards, and there was like some sort of like rotation on them. So at launch, the whole boosters would start like rotating on me, and I didn't have much control over it while it was doing its solid booster stage. So hopefully with the struts, it won't go in on itself like that, at least not as easily. Might need even more struts, frankly, to fix it completely. But this should be fully capable of getting to Minmus and back as well. And note, 8,163, we got to the moon, we landed on the moon, and we came back from the moon with a little bit spare. And with an inefficient launch. Yet, the trip planner, just keep going, I keep going back to this. The trip planner from Kerbin to the moon for a round trip landing recommends 10,240 Delta V. It recommends 10,240 Delta V to do exactly what we just did at 8,153. 8,000-ish, little over 8,000. And we didn't even do this. We didn't even launch it in the most efficient manner. And we didn't do the most efficient maneuvers that we could have done. I didn't use the most efficient use of fuel when doing the landing. I played the landing very safely. Very safely. And used more fuel because of it. And yet, we still succeeded without even coming close to this trip planner's recommendations. Why? Because it does not take into account aero braking. It does not take into account aero braking at any point, with no ability to tell it hey, I'm going to aerobrake here to land. And that is a slight problem. I mean, if you are new to the game, if you've never played the game before, and you don't know about aerobraking, and you haven't learned about aerobraking, this is probably accurate for the amount of delta V that you need. If you are not going to aerobrake at all. This also does not include landing on Kerbin, any delta V to land back on Kerbin. It gives you the delta V to enter into a low Kerbin orbit and not landing on the surface of Kerbin, because at least they understand, hey, you don't need that much to land on the surface of Kerbin from a low orbit, because you will parachute back down. But you could do the same coming from other bodies in the system, as long as you are coming back and going through the atmosphere. You can get captured with the periaps within the atmosphere, and you will eventually land without having to spend any additional delta V. So, it is now 12:26, thereabouts, just a few seconds short of that. I would not have enough time to complete another mission, I think. But hey, let's go take this to Minmus, I guess. Oh right, I didn't adjust the Kerbals. Hey, buddies, could we go back to like the VAB? Can I control what Kerbals I have in this thing, please? Falling off of ladders. Game needs more loading screens. Where can I just adjust my Kerbals here? So we have Bob. Bob Dudble Caldas? Or do we want... No, we want Valentina and we want whoever else. Jeb. We'll have Jeb, Bob, and Valentina on this. Yeah, they don't have roles. Interesting. Interesting. So the Kerbals in here are not differentiated by pilot, scientist, engineer currently. So everyone can do everything. So now that we have everyone, let's launch and see what our struts have done, if anything. Let's see what the struts have done. And if I can launch this successfully at like sub 30 frames. Alright. Spacebar does not go. Hit go. Well, they certainly know how to make it majestic. Ah, yeah, see, we are not, in fact, actually rotated appropriately. The struts did do their job, fortunately. We're coming... I wanna try to get us pointed a little bit more due east. That will do. That is significantly better of a launch than the first time. I would say that this is significantly better, thanks to the power of struts. Oh boy. Alright, solids. You are almost out. Spacebar isn't staging. Okay. So now I'm going to actually point here, put us on stability assist. Go towards the horizon. Try to circularize as best as possible whilst in the atmosphere. Apoapsis is 55. We'll need to get that above 60, but for now we are in fact okay. Actually needed to get like 80 is what I'd prefer. We're getting there. 64, 65, 66, 67, 69, 70. Alright, let's see if we can get it to around 80s. Okay, periaps is also really nice. Set up a maneuver node to circularize. No, we need more. Need more. Alright, that should be... Yeah, that should be good. We are, in fact, in close enough to space that we can send out our thingies. We can warp to our node, tell it to point at the node. Note that we are, in fact, moving on our physics warp here. And the game is at 14 FPS. Woohoo. They're officially in space. And less than 30 seconds to our maneuver, where we will start the burn. This is perhaps the biggest change to maneuvers, where rather than having to guess when to start your burn, the game now actually tells you the exact moment to start your burn for your maneuver. Just by default. No mods needed. We are orbital. Huzzah. We're here. And we are equatorial this time. Woohoo. This would have been the easier time to get to the moon. However, this time we're actually going to Minmus, so I have to always try to remember what's the best way to get to Minmus. Go, give me the maneuver. That gets me not to Minmus. Whoops. Oh, we actually just straight up have an encounter there. Now to make some adjustments. to the timing. Why, hey. There's an encounter that actually hits Minmus. You know what? I'll take it. I will accept that maneuver. It is 897 Delta V. To do this maneuver, we will warp to it, point at it. Yes, lack of stellar exposure to the sun. Because we're on the far side of the planet. Oh boy, please stop telling me that. Alright, we have 45 seconds to the start of this maneuver. We are diligently pointing in its general direction. And I will do a maneuver that will get us into a better actual orbit around Minmus. We don't want to come in and just straight up smack into it. We can see everyone through the windows. 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1, go! Here we go! Off to Minmus. So, if I stream this on Sunday, will I have people show up? Because I sure as heck didn't really have people show up today to this. I guess everyone's too busy watching other people and or playing themselves. So, if I were to stream this on Sunday, we'd have to figure out where we want to go on Sunday. What we want to do. I have, in fact, overshot. Yes, I have overshot a little bit, but that's okay. I can make a maneuver out here. That will pull me in. Excuse me? You. Target. Oh yeah, I seem to have overshot a bit. Ollie, no. I had my water bottle there. And Mr. Cat was gonna go after my water bottle. Hey, Mr. Cat. Yes, big Ollie. He's trying to knock down my water bottle. Why does the game do the thing like that? You know what? Go retrograde. I want to just try to do this adjustment live from here. Because I'm pretty sure that the issue was that I did a little bit too much oomph. Why is that icon red when it's purple on the nav ball? Why is this red when it should be purple? I do not know. Kitty, return. Kitty, where do we want Kitty? Kitty can be like up here, I guess. Here, a little bit smaller, and we can have Kitty maybe right above the nav ball. There, that good. That good for Kitty. For the coal, for the ollie. Are we facing retro? Yes, we can pull that in a bit. Ah, there's our... There's an encounter with Minmus. Okay. That's all we really need. All I need to do now is warp to the encounter. Yes, let us warp. I need to get into the sphere of influence of Minmus. We go right across Minmus, which is great. That helps. We are here. Hello, Minmus. Okay, that's going to be another 200 or so to get captured by Minmus. I want to make sure that my... Oh, is that ring the marker for low orbit? I would hope. Whoops, I grabbed the wrong thing. Alright. Point to the maneuver. Warp to the maneuver. Okay. We are here. 30 seconds. See, when we have the ship built, it doesn't take as long to do this now. Now that I've gotten a little bit more familiar with these controls as well. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Okay, good enough. Out here, maneuver, pull it in, circularize, warp there, point at the node. Why'd you take me to like 2 minutes? Could you get me a little bit closer than 2 minutes? That'd be great. And could you point me at the maneuver within time? Uh-oh, we're not gonna be able to point at the maneuver in time. Alright, we're gonna be close enough. Oh, we're landing. We're landing. Prograde. Turn around. Don't want to land yet. We're a little high for me to want to try to do the landing. Do I want to do the landing? Hold up. Let's go retro. I'd like to land here. We have a significant amount extra delta V for this, by the way. Rather significant. Time warp. Yeah, we're fairly high. I think we're gonna have to land not on a flats area. Excuse me, but I'm not at over 1x. Could you please point retrograde? We're having some issues with even the one medium reaction control wheel on here. Alright, could you point retro? I would like to pull this over to here-ish, or in here. Pull it in. Pull it in. You can do it. That's better. Yeah, pull it in right there. That looks good to me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jettison. This should... You know, I'm just gonna hit activate on that myself. I don't trust myself. I'll hit activate. We're gonna be set to retrograde. And now we warp. Until we get close to the ground. Lowering for safety. Yay. Yes, safety. Yes, please point retro. As I've mentioned, so this shows ground as true. I think this is true ground, true altitude to the ground, rather than to sea level, so just gonna take it safe. Really, this section does not have that much delta V, all things considered. I might not have enough to get home. I just thought about that. Point up. Alright, point retro. And then point up. We had a bit of too much horizontal velocity. But that should get me stopped. Ta-da! We've arrived. And it's daytime. Yay. Alright. Valentina, your turn. You can come out. Down we go. We are walking slightly above the surface, but that's okay. It is time to plant a flag. Launch hype. Minmus. For the Kraken! Alright, there's no science that we can do from here. We can look around. That's about it. Alright, time to go home. Board. Alright. Leaving. Stability control. Could you go, up, please? Where's the, Apo? Apo is there. So what's the escape velocity? Delta V. That. Can I adjust that to more adequately get home? Probably not. Not from there anyway, so I'll have to just make sure that I stay within the sphere of influence here. I should have just enough Delta V to get back. We'll see. Point at the maneuver. Much easier to point now that I've ditched the other stage. Oh, we can pull in the retractable ladders. 23, 22, 21. Performance is great here. Oh boy, yeah. Game's running super smooth here. Up in orbit of Minmus, we've got solid frame rate. Okay, apparently I have gone... Okay, so... If I try to create a maneuver here, how much Delta V is it going to take to get back to Kerbin? And if I keep burning... Can I get that periapse down? Ah! That's kilometers. That's 2,000 kilometers. 1,300. This way? Ah. Well, that's, that was a little much. That's still a little much, but I can make adjustments. That should do it. That's 239 Delta V, and that is well within our 627, so we're good, I guess, as long as I can do that maneuver. Tell the game to point at the maneuver, and we should be good to go. Okay, pointing at the maneuver. 36 seconds to go. Where's my orientation? There's Minmus, there's Kerbin. And our ultimate destination. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition again. Stop. Okay. Delete the maneuver. What did it do? What's the parry? Parry is too high. Nah, it's not gonna... What direction do I need to burn? That's just extending the apo. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna make a, we're gonna be going all the way out here. So, this is the technical burn that I need to make. It's just a couple of... It's just a couple of delta V from all the way out there. Excuse me? So what's that new parry-apps? Well, I guess I can just play it by eye on this number down here once we get out there. So let us get out there. Yes, we are still too far away from the maneuver. Hey, get me close to the maneuver, thanks. Point at the maneuver. Excuse me? I am not in Kerbin's sphere of influence, apparently. Huh. Well, to say that was unexpected would be an understatement. Huh. Okay, how do I plan on fixing this? If I do that... So where's Kerbin? Kerbin is over that way, right? What happens if I try to just, like, burn in its direction? Aha. Alright, well that'll get me inside, but I don't know if it'll get me where I need to go. It's really difficult to read this. I guess that's all I can really do, right? So we'll do that node. I think the game just screwed up on me there. I don't know why it didn't detect that I was exiting Kerbin's sphere of influence. And why did this just not take me even remotely close to this node? Hello? Node? Get me within like 30, 40 of the node, not 2.5 minutes from the node. That would be ideal. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Stop. That didn't get me there. Almost had it. Okay. We has an encounter. Don't know how much of an encounter, but it is an encounter. Where does it begin? In a year. Okay, the periapse is there. So, question of the century, do I have enough Delta V to pull myself in and into the atmosphere? It would appear as if I do. Okay. Thank God. Go. Oh boy, I don't suppose it really matters exactly when I begin this burn, I just need to start burning. And then stop once the periapse is below like 50 kilometers. Which will be 50,000 meters. That's gonna be fine. At least it better be. So, we have 415 meters per second left, which will mean that I do want to now make sure that I'm constantly pointing retrograde. We can, in fact, play. Thanks. I need to look at Kerbin so that I can be like, hey, and I'm moving this way. Yes, so we're going to time warp there. I said we're going to time warp there. In a game, when I say to time warp, I mean it. You know, game, when I say to time warp, I mean it. I just skipped through the atmosphere, but whatever, it's fine. Just use up all of this Delta V, pointing retrograde, and that should help, I guess. It brings my periapse a little bit too far down, but whatever. Extend. Alright, well, burn. We will land. The landing will happen. Excuse me, game? Game, I need you to do that. I need you to hit stable. I need you to launch the parachute. All right, well, that's where the end is going to be. Why? Because the parachute did not deploy. The game refused to stage. That's really bad, by the way, that the game will not stage. Spacebar is supposed to stage. It is supposed to stage. It does not. It will not. I spammed the shit out of these buttons. They did jack all. I guess it was because I was on warp, but that's supposed to be physics warp. I'm supposed to be able to do these things on physics warp up to ×4, and it didn't? That's bullshit. No. Utter bullshit. So, anyway, we did the whole mission. Just didn't quite stick the landing because the parachute didn't deploy. And the stage separation wasn't happening. It didn't do the stage sep. It didn't want to stage the stage sep, and it didn't want to stage the parachute. Like, the hell? The hell, game? Like, no. Anyway, we're now about 10 minutes, 12 minutes after our stop time for today. We've been at it for over 3 hours. I have made my complaints known, I do hope. Playing the game on the lowest graphical settings. At the Kerbal Space Center, we are getting a whole of 27 FPS. And, I have a GTX 1080 Ti. Not a human error. No. No. No, that was bugs. That was bugs with the game right there. That was straight up bugs. Not staging. Spacebar is supposed to stage, and it was not staging. So, don't know what else to tell you. And then I expect that manually clicking on the stage icons should stage, and it doesn't do. It does jack all. So yeah, 26, 27 when zoomed out at the KSC. Minimum settings on a GTX 1080 Ti graphics card, which is a step above the recommended settings. We are running at 1080p. The game is at 1080p. Running in a borderless window, so it is stretching the 1080p to a 1440p resolution, but it is still rendering 1080p. Yeah, if I zoom in, it goes up a bit, 40, 50, something if I zoom in, but if I zoom out, it's trying to render all those stupid trees, even though I have specifically set the game to not render scatter, which includes trees. It is still rendering trees. Yeah, there's bugs. There's too many bugs. It looks okay. There's too many bugs. I don't think it is in a state that should have been launched today, frankly. It should not have launched today. It needs a good long while. It needs several more weeks of just optimization improvements, let alone the missing features entirely. Like, it's fine to have the features be missing. It is not okay for it to perform this badly on this GPU. Just, no, it's not acceptable on the lowest graphics settings. Nah. You can't turn off the clouds. You can't turn off shadows. You can't turn off the trees at the KSC Like, how am I supposed to get the game to be able to perform if I can't just turn these things off? Like, what? And there are bugs. There are just straight up bugs that are really bad. Like, not being able to stage. Like, hello? Hello? Basic core gameplay mechanic of being able to stage your rockets doesn't work? That is unacceptable for the launch of the game. And for the price point, that makes it even more egregious. So, yeah, don't buy it in its current state. Just frankly, don't spend the money for the current state. I would like to say that I have somewhat enjoyed the time today, and I did say that if I was enjoying it, I would continue to stream it, but we're gonna wait for some performance patches, and then we're gonna stream it once it has some performance patches, I would say. So maybe not this Sunday. We're probably not gonna be streaming this game on Sunday. Gonna throw that out there. I was gonna stream the game on Sunday, but yeah, unless someone has like I don't know, like close to $2,000 to throw at me to buy a top of the line GPU to attempt to run this game at decent enough frame rates, yeah, I just will have to wait for optimization to happen, which is pretty sad. And of course, we've played for more than 2 hours, so I cannot get a refund for this game at this point. So, yeah. That's Kerbal Space Program 2 on the day that it launched. This has been Otaku Showboat. I would like to thank you all for watching. If you have somehow enjoyed today's content, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff below the video. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you've not yet subscribed, hit the notification bell, consider becoming a member of the channel by hitting the great big blue join button and supporting on Patreon at patreon.com/otakushowboat if you're so inclined and able. I'll be back with Factorio on Tuesday for our Planetons mods playthrough, continuing that along. I hope to see you all then, because yeah, I'm not going to play this on Sunday. Not unless there's like very major performance patches between, like, in a day, which I highly doubt. So I will see you